And we take you back to our featured table where Antonio Esfandiari has a chip advantage of nearly 4-1 over Ted Forrest. And Ted with a pair of 10s. Moving all in.
Come on, baby, one time.
And now courtesy of the Amberbach pocket cam, we see Antonio's hand.
When he was saying one time, he was probably hoping for another 9. He didn't know that would be the worst thing that he could have.
On Queen 9.
How much is it?
Well, I can't believe that Antonio is thinking about calling here, because he would double up Ted and make this match almost even. All he has is Queen 9. But he's thinking, well, maybe Ted has a small pair, a pair of 5s, pair of 6s, pair of 7s, and then Antonio would be even money, and it's a chance to knock Ted out. In any event, Ted has become a little restless here, and he's just called the clock on Antonio. Antonio doesn't like it, but he has 1 minute to make up his mind.
All right, let's go.
And he will call.
Ted sort of forced Antonio's hand there. Antonio didn't like it, and the clock called on him, and he acted impulsively and called immediately.
Good luck, sir.
No hard feelings, though. He shakes hands with Ted.
Flop comes King, Deuce, 5. No help for Antonio.
No queen.
Queen on the turn.
Wow. That is a dagger in the heart of Ted Forrest. Ted Forrest is out of this tournament unless he catches a 10. He kind of forced Antonio to call by calling the clock, and now he's dead to a 10.
Rivers a 5 of spades, and Antonio Esfandiari advances by eliminating Ted Forrest. What a hand.
And he said, here's your clock, baby, over here.
And Antonio will play the winner of our next featured match. That's between Phil Hellmuth, who's working the fans for the moment, and Huck Seed coming up next.
Huck Seed basically used to be my best friend.
Yeah, we used to be really close friends. We're not as close anymore.
I've kind of stuck more to the poker tournaments, and Huck's just kind of been living the Vegas lifestyle.
It's been an exciting start to the round of 16. TJ Cloutier knocked out John Hennigan. Chris Jesus Ferguson eliminated the last female player, Mimi Tran. Lyle Berman caught an ace and finished off Carlos Mortensen. And the magician Antonio Esfandiari made Ted Forrest disappear. So 4 players have advanced, and now 4 more try to move on to the round of 8. Poker announcer Mike Sexton, who knocked out Eric Lindgren in the second round, today faces off against Hassan Habib, who made a remarkable comeback against Sami Farha. Barry Greenstein with his stiffest test so far. He plays John Jawanda. David Sklansky, who has gotten past Phil Ivey and Johnny Chan, now squares off against Scott Fishman. And at our featured table, it's Phil Hellmuth taking on Huck Seed. And Gabe, as we look around the brackets, it seems like the older players have really pushed around Generation Next.
Well, we've had all this talk about Generation Next, but some of the poker seniors are getting it done today, Matt.
It's great to begin. It's great to play on the internet, but perhaps there's no substitute for a lot of live game action as we take you back to our featured table for a good game. And in fact, when Phil Hellmuth was a younger player, he really made a mark in the world of poker.
10 years ago, these two guys were Generation Next. Phil was the hot player who had won the World Series of Poker, and then Huck came along and won it about 6-7 years later.
Line starting at 3 and 600 as Huck looks down at suited 4-3 and calls for 300. Offsuit ace-4 for Phil, and he will check. And Hellmuth pairs his aces on the flop, ace 10-8.
And he checks. He's slow playing his aces.
Seed bets 1100. Phil calls. Turns a deuce of diamonds, and Huck Seed makes his flush.
Yes, but Phil Hellmuth doesn't know that. Phil Hellmuth has aces and the nut flush draw. He has to bet something here just to see what's going on.
And he bets 2,000.
Now look at this acting job by Huck Seed.
Huck raises to 9,000.
How much? 9?
And Phil quickly calls.
Even if his aces are in trouble, he's got the nut flush draw.
River's a queen of clubs. Phil quickly checks.
Huck knows he has the best hand here. He's trying to figure out how much should I bet.
He bets 16,000.
That's about 2/3 of the pot. He wants Phil to call him, trying to represent that maybe he's bluffing. Phil's not going to go for this.
Well, you know, let me tell you something, Huck. Boy, if you outplayed me this early, I mean, well done, man. You know what I mean? I have the ace of diamonds. Can you beat that?
Phil's trying to get a little bit of read on his old buddy Huck. How's Huck going to react to that ace of diamonds?
No react at all from Huck Seed. Phil looks a little disappointed with that as he folds his hand. And now we take you over to one of our outer tables where Barry Greenstein is just getting underway in his match with John Jawanda. Barry on the button with Queen 9 offsuit.
Remember, this is the hand that Antonio knocked Ted Forrest out of the tournament with. Barry raises.
Raises to 1,800. Now Jawanda with suited connectors.
For sure, John's going to call here.
Why the hesitation?
Well, these are two great players. This is the first hand of their match. John Jawanda doesn't want to lose control. Barry raised him. He might come back. There he goes.
And another 4,000 for Jawanda.
He's thrown it right back in Barry's face. Barry's not going to take it. He puts in a big raise here. This is poker, Matt. This is not drawing out. This is playing the game. Barry Greenstein's establishing control here, and he's not going to give it up.
And Jawanda folds.
Great read by Barry Greenstein.
And many more poker lessons to come. You can catch the round of 8 next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern here on NBC. Back to our featured table now. Huck Seed with pocket eights. And with blinds up to 6 and 1,200. Huck will call.
A little bit of a trap move here.
Ace-10 offsuit for Helmuth, who raises up to 3,700. And Huck calls that.
He's keeping his eights a mystery. Doesn't want to let Phil know he has a pair.
Flop is Jack-8 Trey, and Huck has flopped a set. Phil quickly checks.
Now, Huck's been very aggressive. He's betting most every flop, so he's going to bet this flop, hoping that Phil has something. Please, Huck saying, have a jack, Phil.
Huck bets 7,000.
All right, there he goes. He's got Phil mumbling to himself.
Called every raise, run me over, and I haven't nailed him one frickin' time. Of course I have the hand every time.
You don't know how lucky you are, Phil, that you didn't flop anything there.
Doesn't matter if he's bluffing or not. He's fired at every frickin' pot. How can he get away with playing all these hands? He's trying to be Stu Unger. It's a frickin' joke.
Who's he talking to?
Not one time. I mean, when you play like this, I'm supposed to nail him for $120,000, $30,000 pot. Maybe that was earlier.
The adventures of Phil Hellmuth continue as Huck Seed remains cool and focused.
My name's Huckleberry Seed. My dad's a writer, and he copied my name off of, Huckleberry Finn. That was his favorite writer, Mark Twain, and he always wanted to name his kid that. I haven't shown really any aggression so far. I'll certainly bully and run all over somebody if I think I can. He's a great player, and he's always had a big ego. Big egos do help you win tournaments, but deep down, he always had a little bit of insecurity.